It started with a crime so unusual, so unsettling, that it scarred a small Ohio town for decades. On a warm summer night in 1993, 22-year-old Angela Carter was brutally murdered in her own bedroom. Neighbors remembered hearing screams, glass breaking, and then nothing but silence. The next morning, police arrived to find her life taken in the most violent way imaginable. Detectives rushed to collect evidence. Fibers on the carpet, fingerprints on the window frame, even a bloody shirt in a dumpster blocks away. The scene looked messy, almost careless, like the killer hadn't thought it through. And because of that, investigators felt confident they had their man. Their focus narrowed quickly on Angela's ex-boyfriend, Daniel Price. He had called her the night before, begging to meet. He didn't have a solid alibi, and when that bloody shirt appeared near his apartment, it was enough to seal his fate. Within 6 months, Daniel Price was convicted of Angela's murder. The courtroom gasped as the sentence was read. Life in prison. The town breathed a sigh of relief, but from the very beginning, there were cracks. The fingerprints on the window frame, they didn't match Daniel. The carpet fibers, they weren't from anything he owned. And the shirt? It only shared Angela's blood type, something investigators admitted was less than certain. But in 1993, DNA science was still young. No matter, the jury wanted closure. Angela's family wanted justice. And Daniel Price, whether guilty or not, was the man who paid. For 30 years, Daniel lived behind prison walls. His appeals were denied. His pleas of innocence ignored. Meanwhile, Angela's family tried to move forward, clinging to the belief that the right man was locked away. But for some detectives, the inconsistencies never faded. The evidence sat boxed in a police warehouse, gathering dust. Until 2023. That year, Ohio launched a new initiative re-examining cold case evidence with modern forensic methods. When Angela's case was pulled, investigators found something small but powerful: a scrap of cloth with a faint bloodstain. Back in 1993, it hadn't told them anything. But this time, the technology was different. The results stunned everyone. The DNA was not Daniel Price's. It belonged to someone else entirely. A man whose name had never once appeared in the original case file. Thomas Hale. Hale was a handyman who had worked around Angela's neighborhood that same summer. At the time, he had no criminal record and gave police a short interview before being dismissed. He was forgotten, brushed off as harmless. But 30 years later, his DNA told another story. By then, Hale had been arrested twice for violent assaults in other states. And now his genetic profile matched the stain found at Angela's crime scene. The revelation sent shockwaves through Millwood. Daniel Price had lost 3 decades of his life for a crime he didn't commit. Angela's family had grieved with the belief that justice was served, only to learn that the real killer had been walking free, living an ordinary life, while the wrong man rotted in prison. Daniel's release was bittersweet. Outside the prison gates, he stood trembling, whispering 2 words to the reporters waiting: finally free. But freedom could not return the years he lost. And what about Thomas Hale? Investigators moved quickly, preparing to arrest him for Angela's murder. But when officers went to his last known address in Florida, the house was empty. Hale had vanished. His parole officer admitted he hadn't checked in for weeks. The man unmasked by DNA was suddenly 1 step ahead, gone without a trace. So now, 3 decades after Angela's murder, the story has twisted once again. The wrong man is free. The right man has been exposed. And yet, justice is still out of reach. Because the real killer, he's still out there, somewhere. And as investigators scramble to track him down, one haunting question remains. If he could hide for 30 years once, how long will it take to find him now? Click the like button, comment below, and follow. Manhunt begins in part 2.